Hey folks, Trouble T Cat here, and I've woken up to some rather exciting news this morning, the Battlefield 2026 roadmap, and I've looked through this already, and I gotta tell you, it's looking really good. We're finally getting news about some things we've really wanted for a while now. I've really wanted. I gotta say out the front here, this is my second take at recording this video. I recorded and uploaded something, and the audio glitched out about halfway through and never recovered. I didn't notice it until after I made it public, so if you guys saw that version of the video, I'm sorry. Here is the fixed one. But hey, maybe the second take will be a little smoother anyway, because I'm not doing any editing on this one. This is just kind of my raw thoughts and feelings about this roadmap. So, All-Out Warfare evolves in 2026. Expect larger scale maps, the return of naval warfare, which is quite a big one. That's something that's been missing from the game so far. And a commitment to community-requested features across Battlefield 6 and RedSec. Now, this one, when I first read this, I was thinking, they're probably not going to really have anything too important in there. It's probably just, another one of those token things like, we're really listening to the community, but there's actually something quite significant in this community requested features section that has me pretty excited. So let's take a look at the roadmap here, the full image, and you'll see that in Season 3 in May, which is coming up soon, we are getting 2 maps, and in fact, I'll just say, out the front here, this pacing of 2 maps per season is continuing, although in Season 5 we're going to get 3 maps. We're getting an extra one for the holidays. And, this is a pacing of content that many people in the community have found a little bit too slow, a little bit disappointing. And I've been one of those people myself, to be honest, wishing that we had, maybe 3 maps per season would have been better. But now seeing this full roadmap that we're going to get 3 more seasons before the end of the year, and one of them will have 3 maps, so we're getting a total of 7 more maps before the end of 2026, and some of these maps are quite different from anything we have in the game so far, especially in Season 4. I actually think that by the end of the year, we're going to have a nice, big, well-varied map pool in the game with 7 more maps, so that's really good. I'll talk a little bit more about these maps in just a second, but the really big thing that I want to point out here is under priority features coming this year, we have proximity chat, which I don't really care about personally, but fine, platoons, which is something that for me, I felt like has been missing from the game, so I'm glad that's coming, but I'm not going to give him huge props for something that I feel like should have been there at launch. But they're really burying the lead here by putting server browser third. And this is huge. The lack of a server browser and the lack of persistent servers is something that's been a big problem with the overall feel and pacing of the game experience since this game came out. And like a feeling with a lack of community as well. And if they deliver on this in the way that they need to, where this is a viable alternative to matchmaking, where instead of using Quick Play or whatever, we go to a server browser, we pick a Conquest server, and we just play through a map rotation of Conquest, this is huge. I am not 100% sure they're going to deliver on it the way they need to, which is where the server browser becomes the sort of main way to search, and if you choose to use matchmaking, it's just putting you into those servers. That's what I want to see. We will see if it does that or not, or how they deliver on this. But if they get it right, this is going to make a huge difference. They'll be able to make the end of match experience a lot better because it's not going to need to rematch make you after every match. You will get to see the same players in between games and sort of build up, rivalries or just recognition of people over the course of a whole gaming session instead of it constantly sort of flipping off, flipping you off as the game currently does. In terms of, map variety, if you're in a server with all the maps, right now, if you search for all maps in Quick Play, you tend to get the same few that are the most popular maps again and again and again. I want map variety, and if we have proper map rotations on these servers, then that's not going to be an issue anymore. And of course, if people only want to play certain maps, they should still have a way to do that. But yeah, server browser could be huge news. We're also getting ongoing quality of life improvements, combat tuning, soldier visibility, matchmaking improvements, hopefully somehow linked to the server browser thing, the other thing about the server browser is it's going to solve the problem of so many games having so many bots in them, which has been really annoying lately. This combat tuning thing is the big thing here. Hopefully this means they're going to start to improve the vehicle gameplay and the balance between vehicles and infantry, and, address some of the aspects with the weapons where the gunplay doesn't feel quite as good as it could. So that is all sounding pretty promising. To get into slightly more detail with each of the seasons, in Season 3, we are getting Railway to Golmud, which is basically a remake of Golmud Railway from Battlefield 4. This is not a map that I ever loved, but this game does seriously need a map like this, a much bigger, more open, a little bit slower paced, hopefully more vehicle-centric map, because this is something the game has really been missing. And we are also getting Cairo Bazaar in Season 3, which is an updated take on Grand Bazaar. I'm quite looking forward to that. It's a little bit funny. When Battlefield 3 came out, it was seen by a lot of longer-time fans of the franchise, such as myself, as kind of a dumbed-down, Call of Duty-ified, faster-paced take on Battlefield that people were a little bit uncertain of, but of course over the years Battlefield 3 has become a real fan favorite, including one of mine. But it's a little bit funny, the status of Grand Bazaar as a map that I now feel really nostalgic about, because when BF3 first launched, that map was kind of emblematic of the problems with the game, in a way, for me and for many others. But now I'm quite happy to see Grand Bazaar again. It turned out, to be something that I feel nostalgic about, and I think it makes sense to combine the really big open map of Golmud Railway with a bit of a more infantry-focused experience in Grand Bazaar, so that's a good combination. Season 4 is really exciting. So Season 4 is going to give us a new map called Tsuru Reef and the Return of Wake Island, which of course is a classic map from the original Battlefield 1942. Both of these maps are going to have aircraft carriers, as well as new naval vehicles and a dynamic wave system. So this is going to be kind of along the lines of the naval combat we had in Battlefield 4. And this is also 2 more large-scale maps with all the vehicles and stuff that are, again, what's kind of missing from the game now. So I think this is going to be really good for the map pool and for the overall variety of the game, and I'm really happy to see Naval Warfare coming back. This thing about custom lobbies and spectator mode, good, standard online game feature, and I'm happy they're bringing it, but I can't give them huge props for something that's so standard. Custom lobbies, this makes me a little bit nervous that the server browser announcement is just going to be these kind of custom lobbies, and they're not going to be super visible, and it's going to have a similar problem to what Portal does now, where it's not really a viable way to play the game on a sort of day-to-day basis. But this may be separate from what they mean about the server browser, or in addition to it. So this makes me a little bit nervous about the server browser feature, but we'll give them the grace and say, hopefully that's going to be what it needs to be and what we want and expect it to be. And if that's the case, then the server browser is still looking huge, and maybe this is just going to be another little fun thing to play with on the side there. Nothing wrong with that, if that's what that's about. And then in Season 5, we get 3 new maps. We have a little hint. I'm not going to try and speculate as to what map this could be. I thought about it a little bit. I don't know. I got nothing to say about that. I will say 3 maps in the final season of 2026 is good, bring the map pool up, and I do hope we're going to keep seeing more seasonal content throughout 2027 so that we will have plenty of time to enjoy all these maps and, see the game continue to grow. I think, 3 maps is good. Hopefully, I would hope that at least one of these maps is going to be another naval warfare type of map to bring the total count of maps that have that sort of naval aspect up to 3. Or hopefully, all of them will feature some aspect of navalness, even if it's just like, there's a little bit of water around the edges or whatever. I mean, but even just one that is another sort of naval-focused map with a lot of boats, so that there's 3 maps like that instead of 2 in the map pool. I think that'd be nice to see, but I don't know, and we don't really get any vibe from the screenshot that will be the case, but we'll see. Yeah, quality of life updates. Again, server browser with persistent servers. This is the big one. This is big. I really hope they nail this. By the way, if you've been enjoying my coverage of this update, please do leave me a like and subscribe for more Battlefield 6 coverage, and leave me a comment letting me know what you think of this roadmap. As you can tell, I'm pretty hyped for it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Multiplayer leaderboards, I don't really care. The return of platoons, again, happy to see this. Feel like it should have been in-game at launch. Proximity chat, I guess this is more of a thing for Battle Royale players. I don't personally care. I don't play Battle Royale. And I have in-game voice chat turned off. I don't want to hear randoms while I'm playing Battlefield 6. I don't need a 12-year-old calling me slurs. I'm 35. That time of my life is past now. But But it's good for people who like that. This, again, ongoing combat improvements is potentially really good. Expect combat tuning alongside the introduction of new weapons, soldier visibility, matchmaking improvements, and further changes to challenges and progression. I do hope they can make the challenges a little more interesting. I like to go in and do my dailies and weeklies just as a fun thing to do, but they're kind of samey and not that exciting a lot of the time, so hopefully we're going to get some more interesting challenges. And again, with this combat tuning, the vehicle balance in this game is not good right now, and the weapons all feel a little bit too similar and stuff, and I really hope that they're going to be looking at the detailed community feedback that's been coming in on some of these issues from creators like Enders and from Eclipse FPS, for example, and incorporating, some of that more in-depth feedback to really, really improve the core gameplay experience as we go through 2026. We'll just have to wait and see how they do on that, but I'm glad to see that they're still working on that. This last one, Map Reworks, this is a little bit interesting too. So they've said that the lines of the battlefield are being redrawn. Enhancements of New Sobek City and Blackwell fields that raise the quality bar for these maps are coming. I don't hate either of these maps, I will say. I know that these are some of the less popular maps in the community as a whole. I think they're okay. I do think one of the bigger problems with both of these maps is that the air gameplay is way too confined, though. I know that it's a big problem when you're in air vehicles on this map, like the spawns are way too close in, and there's just not enough space. So I expect when they talk about the lines being redrawn, what they're talking about is expanding the outer areas of the map to allow more space for different flanking routes and vehicles to move around, hopefully, and also especially more room for air vehicles. As more of an infantry player, not a huge deal to me, but I think this is good. And, especially if they do things like space the flags out a little bit more to create a little bit of a less frantic pace on these maps, I think that would be a really good change. And I hope that this is something that they will consider doing for some of the other launch maps that feel a little bit tighter and more constrained than they really need to. So we'll see what they do here, but yeah, hopefully something good, quite interesting. And, they're saying they're going to give us more community updates. That's good. Battlefield Labs, I'm not in Labs, so whatever. And yeah, they're pointing out, best-selling shooter of 2025, which it was. And as I think I mentioned in my last video, up until now, I felt like they've been fumbling the post-launch support. They had this huge sales success, and then, we kind of didn't get the things that we wanted, that we expected to really bring the game up to be one of the best entries in the franchise, which I think we all saw it had the potential to be with the right support, which up until today has felt really lackluster. But this roadmap is looking really, really good. I've had a little bit of a look at some of the reaction from others in the community, and it seems like there's a lot of positivity about the game now for the first time in quite a while. Hopefully they carry that forward. Hopefully they deliver these things on time. No big delays between seasons anymore. And hopefully the server browser is what it has to be. But yeah, for the first time in a while, I'm feeling really enthusiastic and excited about the future of this game. And that feels great. I was worried, when I started covering this game, I was going to be doing lots of negative videos. And I don't want to be doing that because overall, I do enjoy the game despite its flaws, and I do see huge potential in it. And this is the kind of thing I want to see, the kind of video I want to be making. Anyway, that's all for today, folks. Subscribe if you want to see more of my Battlefield coverage. I also do Let's Plays over on the channel, and I may be having some other forms of content coming up in the not too distant future too. Until next time, Treble T Cat out.